And the Conference of United Political Parties has blasted President Bola Tinubu, saying his speeches, which have so far not been matched with corresponding action, are pushing more Nigerians into excruciating poverty. The National Secretary of the CUPP, Peter Ame, stated this in a response to the President's New Year nationwide address on Wednesday. According to him, 2024 was a very harsh year for most Nigerians because of the impulsive decisions taken by the government. Ame stated that when the president said he had dealt with corruption, there were no facts to support that assertion. He said, let's look at the Corruption Perception Index. Nigeria ranks 143rd out of 149 countries. The president promised to ensure more land for agriculture annually to reduce food inflation. Well, that has not happened. It's been all talk and more talk, no action. This has pushed poverty to 56% of our population. Roughly 129 million of Nigerians are today living below poverty line. With a single pronouncement of the removal of subsidies, the cost of public transportation jumped by 300%. The CUPP National Secretary said food inflation was currently at about 80%, adding that it could be brought down substantially if the right actions were taken. What do you make of this position? Do you actually agree with the CUPP that the president has not matched his words with actions?
The CUPP should also suggest a way forward for Nigerians. Looking at their statement, yes, it's their right to criticize, but what are they also thinking that this president ought to have done that maybe he did not know or maybe he has forgotten to do? Sometimes when we criticize, we should also provide solution-based criticism. Look at in this area of economy, this award you should have done in 2024, and you did not do it. That is why we are here. We all know that the president said he has removed fuel subsidy, and that make cost of living on the high side. And we have also seen that the price of PMS start dropping recently because for the very first time during youth period like this, there was no scarcity of PMS across Nigeria. For the very first time for a long time, there was no hurry to buy, or they say panic buying. These are plus to the system. But if, assuming that the price is still on the high side, the availability is there. And if you can believe with me, the cost of transportation didn't just escalate as we experienced over those years during the youth period like this. Because, for instance, if you are moving from Port Harcourt to Bori, normally those vehicles will have been on a queue. And the few that have gotten PMS, we deliberately increase their fares because there are more demands of the vehicles. But as I speak to you, you will see all the availability of vehicles. It is inability of them to just come out to say we are adding more money.
One would say the availability of vehicles, is it not a pointer to the fact that Nigerians are not even celebrating the Christmas? Because a lot of persons are not even traveling, unlike before. You know, from the moment school closes, usually around, in fact, around from 18th, sometimes around December 15, you see people traveling. But in this instance, River State, for example, on 26th of December, there was traffic. On 27th of December, there was traffic, at least along NTA Road. There was traffic. I was going home. I was like, okay, what is going on? You know, and I recall one of those days, I went coming to work early, and there was traffic. I had to even take a detour. And it dawned on me that people did not travel. Because where are the resources to travel? You would rather send some money back home for them to use and, you know, celebrate Christmas, because going in person means that you're going to spend more than you have budgeted, and this money is not readily available. Purchasing power has reduced greatly. So is that not a pointer? So why would there be scarcity of fuel when, how many vehicles are even on the road actually? Can people afford to buy car parts as it stands? Can people even afford to fuel their vehicles and also generate power for their homes? Can people afford these things? So don't you think the availability is because of the greatly reduced purchasing power of the masses?
I don't think so.
All right.
Because, why do I say so? Because, you know why they rush then? You know that from 25th, 26th, 25th, there will be scarcity of petrol. There will be scarcity of a lot of things. So you will rush. Now we have seen that there's no need of rushing. If I want to buy, I drove my car to this place. And there's no need of me planning from yesterday because I will be on this show, start looking for where to buy for, and you start lining up on queue. No. As anytime I'm coming here, I can always get and still meet up the show. So why the rush? So that rush that it was not there, even you will not feel like, for instance, if there is no any obstruction on any road, you will not know that in 2 minutes any obstruction that will be lined up or hold up. Vehicles will just line up. But if there's no obstruction, you will not even know that thousands of cars are passing per hour. But let's have some obstruction somewhere that is prevent just 2 minutes. You will see that you will see numbers of cars lined up. Assuming we have some speedometer on the road that count vehicles that passes through a particular route at the appointed time or the particular time of the day, you will see that a lot of cars travel out. But since there is availability of the product to buy, those that want to buy, there's no time everybody will travel home. It's about family planning. It is not a must that you must travel when you don't have the resources to travel. And there has not been any time that everybody will leave the city and go to the village because of Christmas or because of New Year.
The level of migration and the level of activities this year, you know, this is my observation.
Yes.
The level of activities, the level of migration from one state to another for the festivities greatly
reduced.
Yes, greatly reduced. In fact, yesterday I was opportune to, you know, spend some quality time with a friend of mine who owns a supermarket, and most of the hampers she kept outside. You know, I was asking her what's going on. She said that of all the hampers she made, about 20 of them, only 5 were sold. And mind you, she is in a very busy area of the city, a very busy area, and she sells all the time. Even for the number of hours I spent with her, you know, in her shop, I noticed that, you know, the sales were not as it used to be. So she was telling me that, in fact, that she doesn't even understand what is going on again. That's a pointer that people are not purchasing like they would ordinarily do.
Sure.
You would even recall that, you know, usually when you're traveling for Christmas, you see streets are lighted up.
Yes.
You see supermarkets have designed their complexes.
Yes.
You see plazas, you see fast foods. You see everywhere is so colorful, particularly in River State.
True.
River State is a place to be in during Christmas. Everywhere is so colorful. But this year, you know, just very few places.
You are right.
Even banks.
You are right.
Very few places. There was nothing going on. Streets were not designed, just few ribbons. And you'd be like, okay, what's going on? There was nothing going on. In fact, the only way you'd know that streets celebrated was actually during the 31st night, when they had to blow a lot of knock. Even the way they would shoot knockouts greatly reduced because of. Do you even have the money to buy?
Price, yes.
Do you even have money to buy?
Sure.
The price of decorating these things, the price of buying those lights and ribbons. So isn't that a pointer, you know, if Nigerians that love festivities, no matter how broke Nigerians are, they would always pay money for one bottle, they will always pay. But now it's not happening. Isn't that a pointer? So if you're looking at it like that, then the question would be, why will fuel not be readily available? Who is buying it?
It's true.
As at the way they used to buy before. You agree with me, Chief, that prior to this time, you could actually drive down to a filling station and fill all your gallons for the week.
True.
Right now, can you do that?
No.
Isn't that a pointer? So where ordinarily a person, an individual can comfortably sit down and buy fuel and fill your gallon, use, let's say, 100,000, fill your gallon, and you know that for the month you have settled power, you know, for your generator and all that in the house. Right now, that 100,000 naira will just be to fill your, for some vehicles, it is not enough to fill the tank of that vehicle.
True.
That 100,000 is not enough. And for smaller vehicles, it will only fill the tank of that smaller vehicle, let's say Corolla, for example, fill the tank of that, probably give you another 30 liters of fuel. So, where's the purchasing power?
Things are difficult. In 2024, we experience a lot of hardship in this country. You know, in 2024, the impact of the policies of government from the 2023 when they took over, because sometimes when people come into power without full preparations, what happens is that the people suffered. because the policy of we don't have continuity in government. There's no law that says that if you meet a project, you continue with that project. In case of power changes from this party to the other party, you abandon the project that was almost near completion, and you want to start the one that will bear your own name. This is also making the economy very, very unbearable to the people, because sometimes that company that was doing that job completely, they will be deprived, and you see that they will be lost of manpower. They will reduce their workers' strength. It's affecting
so
families.
They can stay in business.
They can stay in business. So this inconsistency in governance also affect a lot of things. During the transition period, you see that government ought to have said, okay, we have social projects. You know, some governors in some states doesn't even do proper handover. In some states, you only struggle, let me be sworn in. When I get into power, I can manipulate and do what I want to do with my own blueprint. You hardly see some governance blueprint. What we see, who is also supervising the bill, the appropriation bill that they pass and it becomes law when the assembly looked at it, who is also supervising it. Like they talked about corruptions. That is on the high side that the president talks about corruption. Actually, we are not also fighting corruption. We are not also stopping corruption. What we are doing, we are fighting corruption. And like I've said, you cannot fight corruption. You stop corruptions. Because fighting corruption will not end. But if you stop corruption, it will reduce it. We are only fighting it instead of stopping it. Stopping, blocking the leakages. So, Mr. President, for instance, we know how many people that the EFCC have listed. They only listed those people that they think can settle them from the backside. You see a former governor being arrested, and you see in 2 days' time, he's been granted bail with social amount of money. And we talk about fighting corruption without recovering those looting from the people. So I actually agree with them. There is no ratio of, we have prosecuted social numbers of people. We have returned, like during the time of former President Buhari, we see that looted fund was returned, and also shares in some states. We know the Abacha loot then was returned, and also shares in some states, which the former governor of Rivers State also attests to it, that out of the Abacha loot which they share, he was able to make do some flyovers for Rivers people. So you see that when these looted funds have not been recovered to the people and utilized into the system, we don't know how it comes. We talk about fighting corruption or stopping corruption, like I've said. That like I've continued to say, let's stop it. We can stop it. Now, the president, former president, come with a unity account, to unify one account. Is it still in operation? And no. If you come to Rivers State, we have different ministry. Then you don't pay money into account that belong to the ministry. You pay money into the Rivers State account. You go for one unity account, one single account. Has that been happening? No. Some parastatals, some government agencies, they have their own account. They can have access for withdrawal. You ought not to be like that. You have to go to a government account which you don't have right to withdraw. All these things are loopholes that government should have blocked over the times. And these are the first steps of stopping corruption. We look at our borders. We talk about our borders. How many persons have been arrested? It's only those that refuse to settle them, settle our custom officers, that we have arrested so many numbers of people bringing in Indian hams and all that, because maybe they refuse to settle them. They will bring them to book. Who is monitoring them? That look at this, look at the activities going on. Is that we have any digitalization, poor economic system, poor network? Do we have any CCTV camera at our strategic places? The former governor of Rivers State came with CC, what do they call them? At any strategic location coming in, you will see camera that at point blank in government house, they'll be monitoring what is happening. If you are coming from Bori into Akpajo, you will see what is happening. And if you make a step to run away, to evict, checking in your vehicle, in the next place they will stop you. Has that been operational today? No. All those things are wasted fund of government. And when the new government comes and they don't consolidate on that, it affects the people. It increases crime in the society. Like if you see now, we are talking about reducing circulation of physical cash. Gradually, it reduces crime. You see that the rate of picking pocket also reduced. Because if you see me, I'm not with my ATM card, I'm not with cash, but I can do transfer elsewhere, and my transactions still go through. Network is also being a barrier. You go to a supermarket to buy something, you spend like 1 hour waiting for the transaction to drop. Okay? So these are issues that we experienced last year that make the people suffer. Not directly that it was the intention of government to make people suffer, but policies that they don't do it the way it's supposed to be. Like if you are criticise with solution based. I'm suggesting it should be like this. Look at the way you are doing it. Government have a listening ear. Even though they will not applaud you that it was you that gave us that idea, they have listened. If your idea is genuine enough, they will tap into it and develop on it, unknown to you, that directly or indirectly, and that's what we are here for. If you are here talking, government is listening to us. If we provide solution-based discussion here, they are tapping into it. They will not come and thank your station that it was through here we got this idea that we are doing. They will not. But our duty is to render service to the people.
All right.